Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader, and in this video we are taking a look at AMD stock and also why I think that possibly we would be getting red days on AMD in coming weeks. So let's talk about that. Now before that I also want to let you know none of this is any financial advice and is only for education purposes. Alright, so guys, to start off with on the daily structure, yes, AMD technically structure is bullish, alright? But in uptrend, we have pullbacks, right? And then we continue higher. In the downtrend, we have rebounds and then we continue lower. That's the basics of trend, right? So AMD technically is still in the bullish structure. However, this is forming into the top of the leg in this continuation almost, all right? These were the areas to buy when I was talking about it, that guys, AMD, the way it has taken out this area of 162 together with that blue box, any pullback into that blue box is just a buy and we can continue higher. Then I provided you blue box down here 173 after this green candle, that any pullback, as long as we stay above this blue box, we are still bullish because we took out the previous supply zone there, right? And yeah, and then thereafter, this was the next level, 177.24 cents. So all these pullbacks at intraday levels are getting bought back up. So no problems there. Now what happens is, how I like to trade is, when we are getting up to the top, it becomes more convincing intraday trades into the pullbacks because extension has happened. The pullback hasn't come yet. So time to take the positions on the swing is down here, profits up here, and then if you still see the pullbacks getting bought back up at the lower time frame in this bullish structure intraday, these are still the long plays, right? Now, if you have access to my bot already, you can see that the bot has been profitable as well. Let me show you real quick. And if you need access to my tools, links in the description below. There will be red days as well, guys. It's all about being net profitable, and on AMD we are, all right? So yeah, and if you need access to my tools, links in the description below. All right, so now what are we in the situation with AMD? We are a little bit topping out here, right? What are we seeing? That three candles, and I'll take you on the hourly interval in just a second to explain it more. But three candles, 187 around is where we are selling off. Yes, we are getting bought back up again around that previous pivot significant level, but the strength, is this sufficient strength enough to continue higher from here? So let's jump into the hourly interval for that. And so this would constitute red days. The reason I'm saying is that technically these will constitute like a pullback in these red days, just for the reasons that, let's go to the hourly interval now and let's talk about that. So on the hourly interval, AMD, this particular zone up here, 185 almost to 187, is just being sold off here. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, let's keep it there for now, the blue box. But so from last 3 days on AMD, what are we seeing? Selling off at 187. You can see precisely our significant level is being tested over here, and this thing just sells off, and as soon as it gets below 184 and 91 cents, it just drops like a dead ball, right? It can be argued that yes, we are forming still higher lows even on these 3 days. However, this supply zone is pushing it lower and lower. Now, the red days, let's talk about that. This is the level for that you are watching, $180. If AMD loses $180, you can expect continuation to the downside. I'll talk about that until, well, that level by level, definitely the downside, but I won't be surprised if AMD continues level by level down to the 200 hours moving average around 173. That's a very possibility. And also there's another thing, guys. If AMD gets above 182 and 79 cents, I would not put my money more than above 184 and 90 cents. This will be just $2 scalp upside, unless we get out of this blue box. At this point, I want to see that. Otherwise, no, this can again continue to sell off. So pretty much, if it gets above 182 and 82 cents or around that area, and then it rejects blue box and comes back down and breaks this 182 and 82 cents. That's again an area to just play to the downside. And or then there's this area 108 and 80. And this is what this supply zone that constantly AMD is rejecting at. As we continue to reject or break the levels to the downside now, thus losing these pivots as well, that will continue AMD to the downside for coming days, and that level can be down all the way to 173, where this 200 hours moving average would also be. So that's a very likely possibility. For the upside at this point, I would want to be a little bit cautious just because this sell-off is coming. But if AMD with strong strength can get into and above this blue box, then sure, it can continue higher. All right, it all comes down to that. But yeah, this would be the play. This is the window you are dealing with, around 173 to 180 for $10 window for this. Oh, sorry, for this coming week. And but I do expect there might be some red days coming as those levels breaks to the downside, just for the reasons that why do I even, so my probability right now is that 65% to 70% we might be seeing a cool off, just my opinion though. But yeah, that's a possibility here. And also, guys, just before wrapping up, I want to point your attention to also not just, well, 173 around level, what we talked about on the hourly interval for this cool off. And if 20 days moving average is still further behind and we see a deep red candle, I won't be surprised that if we also lose 173 and comes around with 20 days moving average. But keep this 20 days moving average in mind. This the pullback can happen until then. Structure until then technically is still bullish, and that at that point, after this sell off and the pullback, then you can be looking at, okay, is the price action forming as double bottoms, higher pivots again? And that would be the time to again try to play to the upside after this sell-off around these downs level at 20 days, 200 hours moving average between $108 and $70 around, right? And then we'll see how the price action reacts over here. We'll have to see the structure then, right? All right, guys, I'll see you in my next videos then. And if you need access to my tools, links in the description below. All right, bye.